Ladies and gentlemen, an evening read. Since when is Glinda a villain in The Wizard of Oz? Baby, let me tell you something. Glinda has been a villain for 125 years now, okay? She was a villain in the 1900 book, and she's a villain in the 1939 film, and I'm sure she'll end up being a villain in the 2025 Wicked Part 2 film as well. And be clear, this is not a read to the individual that made that comment. This is a read to society, because I want y'all to remember that education and context will always matter over everything else that you give me. Villain characteristic number 1. Glinda was shady without actually admitting to being shady and was often extremely rude. When Dorothy she didn't land there. She actually crashed into Munchkinland. When she crashes into Munchkinland, the Munchkins call Glinda and they like, girl, you need to come down here. It's another witch that just landed on the Wicked Witch of the East and we do not know what to do. Glinda dons this plastic CVS crown and walks on down to Munchkinland. And the first question she asks Dorothy is, so, are you a good witch or a bad witch? We later find out that Glinda thinks all ugly witches are the bad witches. So why did you just ask Dorothy, are you a good witch or a bad witch? Are you literally telling this 15-year-old girl, you're ugly? So what are you? Because I don't know what you are. Villain characteristic number 2. As someone who's also a part of a minority, Glinda being a witch and actively going against the other witches in the community, I could not see through it. I'm sorry. Glinda, it's 3 of y'all in Oz. One has a terrible skin condition. The other, we never even saw their face, but obviously their fashion sense was terrible. You are the only one that seems to be a little bit stable, and you take that power and use it for yourself. On top of you being one of 3 witches, you are well aware that the Wizard of Oz is actually not a wizard at all. You are well aware who this person is and that he is a scammer that can do absolutely nothing for the people of Oz, yet you conspire with him. This is villainesque behavior. And if you don't agree with me, I want you to think about it like this. Think about you being one of 3 minorities or one of 3 women in an office, and there is one woman that continues to try to climb up that ladder. And by doing so, she pushes the rest of y'all down. You don't see that as being villainesque? If you don't. Villain characteristic number 3. She's a thief. Yes, she's a thief. The ruby slippers belong to Wicked Witch of the East. I don't care that the lady had a house that fell on her. They were her shoes. And because they were her shoes, guess who was next in kin? The Wicked Witch of the West. So when that house death dropped on the Wicked Witch of the East, literally, she was supposed to get those shoes. So why is Glinda giving them to this ugly stranger, her words, that just landed from Kansas? I am very confused. And when the Wicked Witch of the West rightfully comes up to Dorothy and is like, baby, give me them shoes. You do not know what you're doing with them. And you also don't know anything about where you are. She was absolutely correct. And do you see how Glinda's looking behind her? Tell me this is not the face of a passive aggressive coworker. This is not the face of somebody who needs to mind their business but refuses to because they want a bonus of 3% next year. And the final characteristic is that Glinda used 4 innocent people to do her dirty work. Glinda used the Scarecrow, Tin Man, Lion, and Dorothy to go to the Wizard of Oz, who she knew had no power, get a command from them, which is actually what she wanted in the first place, which is to get her the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. And the only way you can do that is by getting rid of the Wicked Witch of the West, because what does Glinda want? Power. Glinda wants to be the only witch in Oz because she knows that the wizard don't have no power. So who else will have power? It's her, period. The whole time she's watching them take the yellow brick road through danger, watches them get beat up by trees and the flying monkeys. At one point, they went into a poppy field and passed out, so she made it snow so they can wake up. The entire time she's using them as entertainment and to get what she wants. And in the end, she gets rid of the Wicked Witch of the West. She goes and meets Dorothy and her friends back at the Emerald City because they've done everything that she needed them to do. Of course, the Wizard of Oz is sitting there looking dumb because Dorothy just peeled his muffin cap back blue. And what does Glinda go up to Dorothy and say? Baby, you can go home. All you have to do is click your heels. The entire time, all Dorothy had to do was click her heels. And this lady refused to tell her. And why? Because she wanted to get what she wanted out of her first. A villain. The undercover villain trope is one trope that I want us to start to talk about more as society evolves into whatever it is evolving into. And thank goodness, Cinematicalism, which is an independent media brand, is launching the comprehensive dictionary of cinema. Because thank God we have something to list the ways people can be villains, to list all of the tropes, to list all of the analogies and where those things come from. I need this for my coffee table now. Print media is very important right now, and it's even more important for us to have resources like this so that we can stop gatekeeping information and make sure that the next generation understands a villain when they see one. Because they can look at this book, look at the textbook definition of what an antagonist is and what a villain is, and be able to apply it to people like Glinda. If you're like me and love to bridge entertainment with education, you can support Cinematicalism as well by using the link in my bio to contribute to their Kickstarter. We have to make sure that kids know what a villain is and how to make her look like she's not a villain when she's really a villain, because that is good writing.